22nd of May and it's snowing.
You're John. I'm Dave.
It's a nice and sunny day.
Muhammad Ali.
He's got a heart made of yellow barley straw.
Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Dave.
We're the hardware guys.
I enjoy old vehicles, like nice cars. The old cars, for whatever they are, if they're moving, they're awesome, I think.
For myself, cars have a soul, and I see beauty in them, even though they may be all rusted out. So you treat them like a person, and if you love them, they'll love you back. It may sound a little weird, but it's actually true. If you have bad thoughts about your vehicle, they'll treat you badly.
Bye.
My dad bought this car in 1951. When I was 6 years old, I remember riding home in it the day he bought it. Bought it at Moffat Motors in North Battleford. And I just found it by accident.
It was just by accident?
By accident.
You didn't have a way of tracing it at all?
No, I wasn't looking for it.
Oh.
I bought a magazine. I was traveling on holidays in the States in 2002. And I bought this magazine. There was an article on it, and I knew the car didn't belong in the States. They never made them in the States.
Didn't make the Meteors?
Didn't make the Meteor in the States. So I followed up on it, and a fellow just out of Regina, his name is Fred Sykes. He had bought the car in North Battleford, sold it to a guy in Calgary, and the guy in Calgary sold it to the guy in Sacramento. So I followed it up, and the guy from Sacramento was by then living in Hawaii, but I got a hold of him anyway, and I bought the car over the phone and went
He
down.
still owned it?
Yeah,
This guy from
I went down and got it. But
Drove it home?
no, I hauled it home.
Hauled it home?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put that kind of mileage on.
I went down in December and got it, so you're not going to drive those things through the mountains on the ice.
And basically it's all original yet?
Oh yeah, original color, everything's the same as
The day it was
the
new?
way, yeah, exactly.
It's what they call a flathead D8. Well, that means the valves are in the block rather than overhead. You know, everything's right in the block. But if you compare the simplicity of these motors to what we have today, they're very easy to work on. You know, everything is right there, basically.
It was in the family from new, and then he sold it. He only had it a couple years, and then he traded it off. That's the way they did it in those days. I was lucky to get it back. Now I'll pass it on to my son, and it'll hopefully stay in the family now.
Yeah, my son worked in Regina. He told me about it, so I went up and got it. We rebuilt it all. The cab's all rebuilt. I usually take them out every year and put them in a parade or drive them around a little bit, just loosen them up. International only has 29,000 original miles on it. They're geared so low they weren't used much, just for hauling grain or something. Cadillac. 46 Buick with a straight 8. The motor's been overhauled, the upholstering's been done. Tires are new. Runs good, yeah. Thank you.
This is Merv's car, and it's all in original condition. He bought it off a local person here called Dr. Porth.
It was ordered in at the Melville GM dealer, like Dr. Porth ordered it. And when it finally came in, it's quite long over Canadian cars. It's longer and bigger engine, 4-speed automatic. It's pretty nice. Leather seats, under
This
seat
is
heating.
an American car. It is special order.
It's not very well packed or anything. But a Brownie bullseye camera from the mid-50s. And they used to sell these when I was a kid right at Jack Media's BA oil station. It's a portable barbecue. The mother-in-law had it, and when she passed away and we were cleaning out all our stuff, I said, my God, that's in a GM thing, showing a picnic basket and a blanket and the whole setup. Crackers. And then this is a beautiful big ice chest. I got that in BC when I was out there. And it's a British American thing too.
It's a BA.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the BAs. Oh, it's in nice condition, eh?
Yeah, it's been redone.
Yeah.
And they drain the water out of it. Right on. So.
Looks really heavy.
It is.
Zero.
Actually, when this car was new, you could buy one just like that, only it plugged into the cigar lighter and it would keep your beer cool because it was only the driver that was not supposed to drink. Passengers could drink.
This is original sort of cooler for water.
And that came with the car.
You fill this up. You soak this in water first, and then you filled it up with water, and the evaporation of the outside of the bag would keep the water cool inside. You
In the
know,
rear, it has a light here too that goes out for 17 feet to change a
Oh,
tire. It's got one under the hood.
a safety light.
Yeah. Well, it's got a lot of things that they still put on cars today.
last of the Cadillacs. And I think my fuel pump is, just leave it, I haven't got far to go. Just let her cool off a little bit. I used to belong to my Uncle Joe Gore at Drinkwater. And he was 80 some years old, that's about 20 years ago or 30 years ago. My wife and I used to go on holiday to Arizona and California. And it goes very good, you know, smooth riding car. It makes about,
eats a lot of gas.
yeah, it made about 18 miles a gallon on the highway. But around town, it might make 2 because it's a big motor, you know. It's 500 cubic inch.
Wow.
76. It's the last of your big cars. The fuel pump, here's what it's doing. And when it warms up, it loses its vacuum. And she cuts out. And I know that it's the fuel pump because I changed both filters in there. If you know anything about carburetor, I changed both of them in there and everything. And it still does it. I know if I wait a little while, she'll go. It loses the vacuum, you see. It would be 300 and some horse. 325 or 350 horse. This car will ride so smooth like a boat in the water on a calm day. But it takes more gas. That filter's got to be full of fuel all the time. There's one filter, you can't see it, you got to come around this way. Now the fuel is in there, see? And when that goes dry, the damn thing will stop. I have nothing to do, I'll stop before.
This gentleman is the owner of this beautiful 1957 Chevrolet half-ton.
Completely restored myself, and this is the first spring out for it. We just finished it. It was pretty rough shape. I found parts from 4 different trucks to make one, and this is what we come up with. So it turned out very good. We're pleased with it, and it runs very nice. Well, I'm partial to maroon. I have another 54 Chev, which is a little lighter maroon, and I love maroon colors. Well, I always loved the 57 half-ton Chev truck, and I had a 53 before, and when I found this one, I sold the 53 and we restored this one.
Of all trucks, this is probably one of the most collectible of the old trucks.
They are.
Yeah.
They're a very collectible truck here too.
They were called 5-wheelers, weren't they? What year is this?
This is a 1930 Model A quarter ton.
truck.
This is slightly newer than the Model T then.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit newer. Talk about simple engines. Does this have a fuel pump? Gravity feed?
This is the gas tank here, comes down.
And it just gravity feeds. See, if you went up too steep a hill and you only had a small amount of gas in your tank, the gas went back to the back of your tank, you'd run out of gas. Sometimes I've heard that they had to back up hills if they were low on gas.
Bring it into Solvy's.
Bring it into Solvay. Bring it into Frank Regal and say, Frank.
No, I mean, that fixing things is one of the joys of life, I think. Like you take it apart and you try to figure out what's wrong. And then you do what you need to do to fix it. And sometimes, you try 1 or 2 times or 3 times, it doesn't work. And whatever, but when you finally get it figured out, whether it's anything from computers to broken glass, you find a way to fix it, and it's a neat
Very
thing,
satisfying.
I think. Very satisfying. I think.
Herb Hebert ran the machine shop up there, and Herb was a gruff heart of gold. And it took me years to figure out if you want a welding done. You went into Herb and he'd say, Herb, would you weld this? And he'd come over and he'd say, junk pile's at the back door. Put it there. Go buy a new one. It took me years to figure out that you walked into a shop with this thing in your hand and said nothing. Nothing. And Herb would come over. And then you would say to him, I don't think you can fix that, Herb.
Challenge.
Oh, he'd say, give me that. Come back after dinner.
It is satisfying
Oh,
to be able to fix something, especially if you don't know anything about it to start with, and you're able to dismantle it, take it apart. And I don't mind doing that with my own stuff, but I wouldn't want to do it for Lynn or Hummer, because I'm liable to bugger it up.
Next time I have a baler, and I hope I never have to do it again, but next time I have a square baler that needs timed, I'm going to call you.
What I will do is take the head off that old threshing machine, and we'll start it in motion to count. How many hours it will take me to get that timing mechanism on your baler. Right. We've got to make use of that counter somehow.
In fact, who can I get a lady to sit in here?
You don't have to worry about bumping your knees on the door at all, you see. It's very easy to get in and out of. But they're called suicide doors because if they ever came open when the vehicle was moving, they flip backwards there. You could fall out. Automatically goes down. As long as you press that button.
Yeah, as long as you press the button. So when you close the door,
the big 462 cubic inch engine in here. I don't imagine it gets great gas mileage. That's all engine.
I can open it from the front or here. There were only 2,271 cars of these built. They're just a very low production. in making of it. And this actually 67. I've always wanted a Lincoln convertible, and this is the last year they made a Lincoln convertible, and they abandoned the four-door, the suicide doors. They never made, in 67, Lincoln never ever made another convertible.
'70 is nothing. 70 is nothing, really. Consider Methuselah, the great white whale, the disillusioned stars and their bored circuits. But 70 is a great deal more than the span of a cat, or the expectation of the aphid, if it even has any. A great deal more than where you ever thought you might be. 70 is relative, then. More than this, less than that, but what consolation is there in that? It's not 70 that matters anyway, but the day after 70, and the day after that. Yes, the day after that.
Nice day out today.
Bye.